And welcome back to the Sports Resort. This is your home for all things sports. I'm your host, Gannon Cornley. Got my main man, Toby, right here with me. And welcome to episode number 41. We do apologize, did not have a show for you guys last week. Lots of stuff going on in our personal lives, so we got a little busy. But we are here to bring you all up to speed on everything going on with the current playoffs in regards to the NBA and, of course, the NHL as well. A little bit of NBA news, some college football, combat sports, maybe some horse racing. We'll see. We've talked about it the last two times. I don't know if it'll make the show this time, but we got lots of stuff. And, of course, MLB update as well. So lots of stuff to get into for this week. I apologize. I don't have my jersey on. I just feel like winning a jersey episode. So just got a regular shirt on. I'll be back with the jersey next week. But before we get started, anything you have for us, Toby, before we get 41 started?
I absolutely love this time of year in sports. The playoffs going on, all the NCAA championships coming to an end, championship golf, horse racing, you name it, the obscure sports that we don't always get the chance to talk about in full force these past 2 weeks. It's such a fun time, and the playoffs are here, and I cannot be more excited for everybody else's team but my own. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, man, there's been a lot of stuff going on, especially with the NBA, specifically with the NBA, since the last time we recorded an episode. So we'll get into that. But first, of course, you guys already know what we do. We start off every show with a segment titled, What Is You Doing? We're going to highlight some of the biggest idiots in the world of sports, people doing way too much, and they need to stop. I'll let you go first for this week's episode.
My What Is You Doing's got to be Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Come on.
Now, they got the Game 1 win, and it was a spectacular win. Jimmy Butler, he's a candidate to be here too, shooting 4 of 22. But I'm going to let him go right now because Giannis Antetokounmpo, once again, nearly cost the Bucks in the playoffs. 5 missed free throws in the fourth quarter, a 10-second violation at the free throw line, which we never see. I don't even remember the last time I've seen that. I think I have to go to YouTube to find old clips of that happening. He gets called for that in the final 2 minutes of a playoff game. Oh, and then he lets Jimmy Butler make the game-winning layup. The guy had made 3 field goals total in the game before that. Easy drive-by to send it to overtime. Luckily, his guy, Chris Middleton, bails him out, as one does. So Bucks get the win. But Giannis, you gotta, what is you doing, man? You got to start showing up in the playoffs. We know how good you are. 2-time MVP. You just got to come out, show it. And the good thing about the playoffs is he's got at least 4 more chances. At least.
Yeah, Giannis has got to be way better. I'm not on his head as much as you are, but I mean that was just not what you need from your star player down the stretch. Missing field goals, missing extra points, I got football in the mind. Missing free throws, getting violations, defensive player of the year getting blown by. When you're 7 feet tall, at least make him shoot over you, and if he makes it, you shake his hand. But you don't let him blow by you. So just Giannis, yeah, what are you doing? But my what is you doing does not pertain to one individual. It goes to an entire company. And this company is ESPN. Y'all get my what is you doing for this week because y'all are so annoying. Y'all get all right. Everyone knows they have their favorites. Okay, they love them some LeBron. I mean he's on my team, so I get the benefit of getting so many LeBron highlights from ESPN. They love Steph. You know, they love in football. They love Mahomes and Brady and those type of guys. I don't know what it is about these dudes and LaMelo Ball, but it has got to stop. Listen, the dude's good, very good. I think he'll have a nice, bright future in the NBA. But you would have thought this man was the second coming. I just don't understand. They don't even post about Zion anymore. He was the biggest thing since high school at Duke. If Zion made a layup, it was a highlight at Duke. Now, it's all about LaMelo Ball, and I just do not understand it. And you can tell they were so sad that the Hornets missed out on the playoffs after they lost in the play-in game. They resorted to posting this man's high school tapes just to remind us of how good he is, since there's nothing else to post regarding his NBA career since they're out of the playoffs, and that would be far irrelevant to post right now because his team's not even in it anymore. So, ESPN, what is you doing? Leave us alone. We do not care about LaMelo Ball. This is about for the teams who actually are good enough to make the playoffs. His team was not. He was not good enough to lead us into the playoffs. So we're tired of seeing him. We're tired of hearing about it. I don't dislike him in any way. I wish him nothing but the best. But quit being all over this guy. Like, I don't understand what the infatuation is. And he probably won't even win Rookie of the Year. So you post him more than the guy who probably will actually win Rookie of the Year, and Anthony Edwards. So stop, please. It's annoying. Yeesh.
I have nothing to add. I think you covered that entire thing. The play-in game was so embarrassing for them. That was his chance, big stage, kind of a postseason game. And the performance that he gave us, I don't even want to look at anybody on the Hornets team for the next, until opening day next year. I don't want to see preseason highlights. I don't want to see them doing anything in the offseason. They really ruined that plan. It could have been so good, and then they got it off to a 40-point loss. Thank goodness for Steph Curry for giving us 2 insane games. Otherwise, the whole play-in tournament would have been nothing but blowouts.
Yeah.
And I blame them. They got it started bad.
It's all the Hornets' fault. I blame them for losing to Indiana. That's what I blame them for. It wasn't that you just lost. You lost to the Pacers. Then we have to hear about it.
Yeah. Had to give our buddy Connor hope.
Which that quickly ended the second they played the Wizards, because they got absolutely murdered by Washington in that play in the next game. So, but yeah, man, ESPN, yeah, I just don't even get it, because LaMelo is. I mean, obviously the whole Ball family has been pretty marketable. I mean, they've had their own drama, if you want to say, between the dad and everything. Ever since Lonzo's gotten in the league, Lonzo's been his own guy. He's been quiet, down to earth. He's really improved his game and is trying to make a name for himself, besides being all the off the court stuff. The middle son, we have nothing to know because he's not in the league, so there's nothing to sell there. I don't know why all of a sudden they just felt the need to just go all in on LaMelo Ball in regards to the media, but it's annoying. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's really only ESPN, because, I mean, I follow Bleacher Report, and they pretty much post a lot of the same stuff. But it is just out of hand between ESPN and SportsCenter, which obviously is ran by ESPN. It's just all day. It's just nothing but LaMelo Ball all day, every day. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. They got absolutely murdered by the Pacers, and there were multiple posts made about LaMelo just himself, not even the Hornets, just LaMelo himself. Not even the Pacers, who won the game by a large margin, but it was about how the Hornets had a good season led by LaMelo Ball. It's just dumb. Like, that just is annoying me.
Yeah. In short, ESPN's infatuation with balls is kind of sus. So.
All right. Well, there's that. Well, we'll use that to segue over into the NBA playoffs for the teams who actually made it, because, as we, of course, have alluded to, Pacers destroyed the Hornets in the 9-10 game. The Celtics were able to cruise past the Washington Wizards in their game, leading to a Wizards and Pacers elimination game to be the 8th seed in the playoffs, where the Pacers, man, they looked as bad as the Hornets did when they played them. They got
predictable fate.
Yeah, they got shellacked which led to the Wizards being the 8 seed in the East. Over in the West, the Grizzlies took out the San Antonio Spurs in the 9-10 matchup. My Los Angeles Lakers were able to hang on after coming back from double digits to beat the Golden State Warriors to lock themselves in at the 7 seed, which led to a very entertaining Memphis and Golden State Warriors game that ended up going into overtime, where the Grizzlies were able to prevail. So we did see that the playoff did work. The 9 seed was able to win a game and then go in and then beat the team that would have regularly finished as the 8 seed. So Memphis stole the seed from the Golden State Warriors, and now they are currently, as we speak, playing the number 1 seeded Utah Jazz in the 1-8 matchup. So what were your takeaways from the play-in after, this was the first time we really got to see it, and it's all a lot of controversy. LeBron said he hated it. A lot of people have came out and said they loved it before it even got started. What was your take on it after now seeing those games firsthand?
A lot of the games were blowouts, but that's to be expected. The thing about the play-in that I think a lot of people are still sort of underestimating is that in a normal season, they would have played 10 more games. There would have been 10 more games played. And the Grizzlies and Warriors played to be the 8 seed on the final day of the regular season. Now, in a normal year, they would have had 10 more games to play. So you never know how that would have shook up. The East, the 7 and 8, they were locked in. I think they were clearly the 2 best teams that were in that tournament. They went. The Grizzlies and Warriors, about as even as it gets. I love the fact that they played for the spot, because in a normal year, there's a good chance the Grizzlies would have caught the Warriors. There's a pretty decent chance that would have happened. So a lot of people who were upset about the Warriors not making it, 72 games is enough. I mean, they play 82 every year. I like the play-in. I think the Grizzlies got in, and I think they deserve to be in. And they're showing right now against the Jazz. Now the game's not over, but they're showing right now against the Jazz that they were deserving of this spot. This is a scrappy team. I love the Grizzlies. I love the play-in. I think the playoff provided an iconic LeBron moment. We got to see more Steph Curry carrying the Warriors. Young upstarts really showed off. There was a 50-point game. I mean, I think I got exactly what I wanted from it if I was an NBA fan, if I was the NBA. And I don't know if they're going to use this in the future when we do have the 82-game seasons. But for this year, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I said from the beginning, I was always on board with it. It's more basketball. It keeps teams more competitive. I mean, think about it. There was a 3-way tie in the West between the Mavericks, the Trailblazers, and the Lakers. So 5, 6, and 7 all had the same exact record. Now the Lakers, unfortunately, got the worst end of that deal in that 3-way tie. But I mean, that's just how the dice falls. But that shows you how competitive it is. And imagine if there were 10 more games left. Who knows? I mean, all 3 of those teams finished with the exact same record. But for this season specifically, where we're not going to play a full 82, I think that was perfect. And I think the Lakers, granted, they didn't play as well in the first half, but in the end, they were able to hang on and beat the Warriors. And I think that, the Mavericks, based on how we've seen the Mavericks and the Trailblazers both went into their playoff, and we'll get into that in a minute, went to their game ones, and they both won. So I think that those 2 teams for sure show that they were worthy. If they were the 7 seed, would have been able to beat the Warriors. The Lakers did beat the Warriors, got the 7 seed. Now they lost, but they played a very competitive game against the 2 seed. So, I mean, I think all 3 of those teams would playing competitive basketball to make sure that they didn't end up in the playoff. The Lakers ended up doing it, but the other 2 show that they are more than capable of beating some of the higher seeds. So I loved it. I think it kept everyone competitive. We saw a 9 seed get in, and they barely beat the Spurs. So who knows? The Spurs. I mean, if the Spurs would have won that game, I mean, they could have. Greg Popovich, you never can count them out. So I think that this was a great thing. I would like to honestly see this continue. I don't see any problem with it. It's 2 extra games for a team that would be worse anyway. So if you're the 7 or 8 seed and you lose, I mean, it's 2 games. You basically play 84 games instead of 82, which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they hate that as players, but as a fan, that's 2 more games of basketball. And That's 8 overall, and I love it. I'm all for it. All for it. And so then just to carry on into what's been going on into the playoffs, it's been entertaining already. I mean, it started off with a bang. As we alluded to earlier, it was the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat in the very first game of the playoffs went into overtime after essentially a buzzer beater by Jimmy Butler, driving past Giannis to send that game to overtime. The Bucks were able to prevail on a buzzer beater from Chris Middleton to avoid it going to a double overtime. So we can see already that series. That's going to be very entertaining, I think. The Heat, of course, being the runner-ups in last year's NBA Finals and currently defending their Eastern Conference champions, if you will. Getting it, they were the 5 seed last year. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now they're the 6 seed. So again, given the Bucks everything they can handle, and I mean they're a very dangerous team, So you have to keep a lookout on that. To stay over in the East, you have the Brooklyn Nets. They were able to take a 1-0 lead in their series over the Boston Celtics. The 76ers had a scare from the Washington Wizards, but were able to hang on to go up 1-0. And Trae Young with the game winner in the 4-5 matchup over the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. So far, we've had basically two games really come down to the wire, and the 76ers barely were able to hang on against the Washington Wizards. So, I mean, the East, that's been definitely a very close race so far. In the West, it's been a lot of actually, at least in the first couple games, commanding leads. You've had the Suns pretty much led the Lakers the entire game, and they were able to win in that 2-7 matchup, taking game 1. You had a dominant performance by the Trailblazers over the 3-seeded Denver Nuggets. So that was very shocking to me, at least. See how the 6 seed came out and just took it to the 3 seed. Granted, obviously Jamal Murray not there, but still just how dominating of a game that was. And then we have seen the Dallas Mavericks go into Staples Center and take it right to the Los Angeles Clippers with a 10-point commanding win over them. So again, that was a great series last year in the bubble. Porzingis got hurt and ejected in one game. So we kind of see now with him back healthy, not ejected, the Mavericks are picking up right back where they left off when they had all those guys last year in the bubble. So I think that series is going to be very entertaining. And like we said earlier, as we speak right now, the 1 seed's in danger as they're currently losing in game 1 to the 8-seeded Mavericks. Memphis Grizzlies. So lots of entertainment, a lot of upsets over in the West, a lot of close games over in the East. So what are you looking for kind of moving forward, as this will be the last game 1 so far of all these series?
I must say, I love every first round matchup. I absolutely love it. I think you can look at every matchup, maybe not the 76ers and Wizards, but you can look at all the other matchups and you can really find narratives that are going to drive conversations around all those series. You know, the Bucks and Heat, you mentioned it earlier. I think that's going to be one of the best series of the playoffs. Giannis redemption. Heat, they want to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. And Chris Middleton, I've seen this man make so many clutch playoff shots. I think it's time for the Bucks to ditch Giannis in late game situations in favor of Middleton and Drew Holiday with the balls in their hands at all time, and just cut Giannis out, make him a defensive stopper. He didn't really do his job in game 1, as we alluded to. Jimmy Butler is also a very clutch player, so credit to him. But the Bucks and Chris Middleton, I don't know, had they missed that first shot or had they missed that game-winning shot and the Heat go on to win in double OT, we feel so much different about that series right now than we do at the current moment because he made the shot. And I think the same thing in the Hawks-Knicks. I think if the Hawks go in, they miss that shot, the Knicks win. We feel a whole lot different about that series too. The pressure would all be on the Hawks in game 2. And that's a young team. Both of those teams, young teams, don't really have any playoff experience. They've got a player here and there, Derrick Rose, for example. But the game winners really shifted how we feel, I think, about each of those series. All the pressure now on Miami, all the pressure on New York. I'm really looking forward to those 2 series. I think those are both going to go, I'm predicting it right now, both will go 7. And both will see some unexpected heroes step up. Trae Young was the guy in game 1. I get that. Chris Middleton, he's been sort of the Bucks closer. But I think we're going to see some surprise stars out of each of these series, be it for the Heat or for the Bucks, be it for the Hawks or for the Knicks. I'm excited. I think there's going to be a lot of guys step up, and I think those will be the 2 most fun series of the first round.
I like it. I like that prediction, and I'm here to tell you right now: if the Heat advance, if they beat the Bucks, they're as dangerous as any team left in the playoffs. Because if they get on a roll again, because I told you, I mean from the jump, I don't trust the Nets. So, and I think a team like the Heat, very scrappy, does not back down to anyone. That is a prime team to upset them. Because I don't trust the Bucks to upset the Nets if they were to play in a series. I think the Heat would be a prime team to do that. So I think that is very huge. That shot by Milton is groundbreaking, earth shaking. Because if the Heat find a way to get past this series and play a team like the Nets, who have never really played together, that was their 9th game, I think they said. Between KD, Kyrie, and Harden all playing together, 9 games. Yep. And all of a sudden they're going to get it figured out against a team that's very equipped to play with each other and have been there and actually done this before as an actual unit together. I'm just calling it now. I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm just calling it now. Like that, they would be on upset alert for me. But of course, I have to get past the Bucks first. So that's kind of like my dark horse again. I know they're technically the defending Eastern Conference champs. So they're in a way defending their title, but I still see them as a dark horse to make a nice little run in the East. And then the West, of course, roll with my squad. We lost today, but the Lakers, this has got to be the most dangerous 7 seed in the history of the NBA. The Lakers can turn it on at any point in time. And it took LeBron finished with 18, AD finished with 13 points and lost by 9 points. So, and that was with fouling at the end. They very well, it was within like 6 or 7 in the last couple of seconds of the game. So the Lakers, I think, are very dangerous, can make a nice little run. What I am very interested in is if Memphis hangs on here. If I don't know if they really will end up winning this series, but what's happening on the other side or within the other matchup, if the Mavericks can pull it off, a Grizzlies Mavericks matchup, that would be insane. Something I never would have thought of. Now, obviously, this is just game 1, and this game one's not even over. But the Grizzlies, as I'm watching, are still doing really well. And, man, just to think like we could potentially have an 8 upset of 1 or 5 upset of 4. And then the Lakers, I still think will end up pulling it off against the Suns. And then we have already seen the Trailblazers. They already have a game in hand on the Nuggets. So all lower seeds really have a shot to advance. And I think that's the first time I think we've ever really seen that in the NBA. Because as we discussed literally last time with the stupid comments from Kendrick Perkins, the best teams in the NBA always win. So this would be kind of actually a way to – this would be an anomaly if all these quote-unquote lower seeds find a way to advance.
100%. It helps the Grizzlies right now that Donovan Mitchell's out, of course. We don't know when he'll come back, so there's the whole thing. We know what Donovan Mitchell did in the last postseason, and even though they bowed out early, unreal performance by him. But the Grizzlies, they're a team that actually has a history as an 8 seed, beat Greg Popovich's Spurs as a 1 seed. And there's just, I'm not sure what it is because the Grizzlies roster has changed. Their coaching staff's completely changed. I don't know what it is about the Grizzlies, but it always seems like they're scrappy. They play everyone close. They don't bow out. They don't back down from anyone. And it's the attitude and mentality of Memphis that I think makes them so dangerous as one of those lower seeds. And yeah, I think this series is going to be an absolute dogfight. And I'm really anxious for Donovan Mitchell to come back because the Jazz without Donovan Mitchell, I don't think they have it.
No,
I don't think they have it.
And that just shows you how much star. Whoa, I saw Rudy Gobert fall down. But that just shows you how much star power means in the NBA. One player goes out, and that could be the difference between an 8 seed beating a 1 seed. So that's easy. Oh man, Rudy Gobert flopped. Okay, that was terrible. But anyway, yeah. No, I'm very excited, and you know, I possibly have a chance to have an opportunity to participate in the postseason, watching some NBA playoffs. So we'll see. Coming up, there's a chance. So no, I'm super excited. This is, I think, going to be one of the more fun years. I obviously had a lot of fun last year. Of course, my team won it all, but I really loved the bubble. I love how they constructed everything, and I think it's carrying right into this postseason. And yeah, you know, a lot of like you said, storylines and headlines, and man, this is what you want. This is exactly what you want.
It doesn't get much better than this here.
It really doesn't, and I mean that really, with that kind of atmosphere in the playoffs, carries us over into the NHL as we get over into that now, as the NHL playoffs is going, of course, as well. We've only had 2 teams advance so far. Of course, they started a while back, but the Colorado Avalanche sweeping the St. Louis Blues. Get out your brooms. They swept them. And Colorado, the team that I said from the jump would win it all, are moving on into the next round. So they have advanced. Another team that has advanced as well as the Boston Bruins. Bruins. They have moved on, winning 4-1 over the Washington Capitals. Good. Screw the Capitals after what they did to my team, the New York Rangers, who unfortunately did not make the playoffs. But we'll talk about them another day. The Bruins have eliminated the Capitals, so I'm very happy about that. We'll go over. It's real interesting kind of how this ended up being set up. So it ended up being the East playing the Central, and then the West taking on the North, which is all the Canadian teams. So on we'll just say the right side of the bracket includes all the Eastern teams. So the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders are deadlocked currently at 2-2 apiece in their series. And then over in the Central, you have another deadlock between the Predators and the Hurricanes, tied at 2-2. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning lead the Florida Panthers 3-1 in the 2-3 matchup in that series. So I know Toby was rooting for the Panthers, not looking too good so far for them. And then on the other side in the North, they had one series that was delayed because they still had to make up some regular season games. So you have the Maple Leafs and the Canadians tied at 1-1 apiece. And then, of course, the Winnipegs are absolutely annihilating the Oilers right now, 3-0. So not looking good there. As the Jets are just taking over that series. And then on the other side, like I said earlier, the Avalanche have already won their series, and it looks like we know who they're going to play most likely, as the Knights are starting to take it to the Wild now. They're going buck wild on the Wild as they lead their series 3-1. What have been your takeaways from the playoffs over on the on the ice so far?
Well, first and foremost, The Colorado Avalanche are as good as advertised.
They're amazing.
They outscored the Blues in the series 20-7. And for a little bit more context, the Blues, 7 goals in 4 games, just narrowly beat the Avalanche star Nathan MacKinnon, who scored 6 goals in the 4 games. So Nathan MacKinnon by himself put up a great fight with the totality of the Blues goals. But there's 2 other series that I really want to talk about. The Oilers and Jets. This is highly unfortunate. Highly unfortunate. The Oilers have the reigning MVP of the league and the best player in hockey, not the same player. Draisaitl, the former MVP or the reigning MVP, McDavid, the best player in hockey. It's not debatable. They scored 1 goal in the first 2 games against the Jets. Hard to win games when you score 0.5 goals per game.
And then when they did score, they gave up 5 goals.
They sure did. They actually had a 4-1 lead in the third period. The third and fourth goal were scored 16 seconds apart with about 6 minutes left. Lost in overtime. And it's highly unfortunate, not because we don't want to see the Jets advance. Obviously, the Jets are here because they deserve to be here. But the Oilers have one of the most exciting teams in hockey, the most exciting player. And we're going to see them for probably a total of 4 games in the postseason. Now, obviously, we've seen 3-0 comebacks in the NHL before, but I would not hold your breath. This team does not defend. They don't have a good starting goaltender. And in the playoffs, that is extremely hard to overcome. Look at Monte's Vegas Golden Knights, for example. Marc-Andre Fleury stops 112 of 116 shots he's faced. That's a pretty good way to get yourself a 3-1 lead. In fact, the game they lost was 1-0 in overtime. Just for reference on how good he's been. But the other series that I wanted to talk about, because I don't want to talk about the Panthers and Lightning. That's no fun for me. And the Panthers are worried more about fighting than they are playing hockey. That's a story for another time. The Hurricanes and Predators series,
yes, sir.
Which a lot of people thought would be over pretty quickly, especially at the way the Hurricanes started it, has now turned into an absolute barn burner. 2 straight double overtime winners by the Preds. The crowd there is insanely hyped. The crowd in Carolina was insanely hyped. You got Taylor Lewan, the Titans offensive tackle, just slamming beers in the front row, shirtless. None of his teammates there. He just loves the atmosphere of hockey games.
Just there.
Full on Preds guy.
Loner.
No sweet seats, no nothing. Just soaking it up. The Hurricanes, they played max capacity. Insane. The celebrations after they win, iconic. And what a series, man. It looks like it's going to go 7. It really looks like it's going to go 7, and it's going to be a game 7 back in Carolina. Oh, must watch hockey. If there's any hockey series that you're going to watch,
Reds.
Yeah, watch the rest of this series, because this has been one of the most fun ones. And also get Tom Wilson out of here. Capitals out of here. Tom Wilson, you pulled some BS too in game 3.
Get out of there.
Gotta get your ass back home.
Get out of there. You're fired. You're fired.
Bruins.
Bruins.
In town rejoice. At least one team will be advancing in the postseason from Boston. So,
well, I'm not
looking up for this.
I ain't too happy about that, but I did want the Bruins to take out the Capitals, because screw him and the entire organization. And that's pretty much what Dylan Brooks just said to the Utah Jazz. Because my goodness.
Grizz.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Things that we love to see, though, are Kansas City Royals are getting back to their winning ways. I think the last time we did this show, they still hadn't won a game. They were in the midst of their what did it stop at 12?
11-game losing streak.
We lost 11. Okay, it was the 12th game that we won. Yeah, lost 11 games in a row. So that was very embarrassing after hyping them up so much. So I'm not gonna hype them up. I'm just gonna say they have played better, and I'm gonna leave it at that, because we started talking how good they're playing. And all of a sudden, they forgot how to win at all. You had to play the entire sport. But the Royals they are nearing 500 yet again. They're 22-23. Currently sit third in the AL Central behind the White Sox and Indians. So a little update on our hometown team. We're doing a little better, but still a ways to go. Over in the AL East, it's been just insane. So my Yankees have been playing far better, including especially our pitching. But it doesn't matter because the teams above us don't also know how to lose. They don't know how to lose either. As the Red Sox are 7-3 in their last 10 games. They did lose today, but before that they had won, I believe, 6 straight. The Tampa Bay Rays have now reached double digits. They have won 10 straight games in a row. The Yankees have won 6 in a row. Meanwhile, the two teams at the bottom of the AL East, the Toronto Blue Jays have lost 5 in a row, and the Baltimore Orioles in the midst of a 6-game losing streak. So you can kind of see the top teams in the East are starting to separate themselves with the Red Sox, Rays, and Yankees. So that's going to be an interesting battle. The Red Sox and Rays currently are tied in first, 29-19, with the Yankees just a half a game back out of first place. So that's going to be a very exciting race. I did not believe the Red Sox would be as good as they are this year. I thought it would be definitely a race between the Rays and the Yankees. So they're a surprise team. I cannot stand the Red Sox. They're easily my least favorite team, but it is good for baseball a little bit when they're halfway respectable. Makes for some good baseball, so I'll allow it. But that's been a major race in baseball so far. Over in the AL West, just to continue to recap all the divisions, the Oakland A's still hold firm their lead. Astros are sitting in second behind them. Over in the NL, the New York Mets playing some pretty good baseball. They are in first place, up a game and a half on the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Acuna just continues to just dominate. Man, he's just a highlight reel. Just an absolute highlight reel. Dude's amazing. Definitely exciting to watch. The NL Central is not exciting to watch because the Cardinals unfortunately still lead it. They have a 2-game lead over the Chicago Cubs, who they did just lose to. So the Cubs making up some ground there. The Cubs currently sit in second place behind the St. Louis Cardinals. And in the West, the Padres have now moved themselves into the first place spot. The Dodgers just a game behind them. I can't believe the Padres already have 30 victories on the season. That is insane. But the Padres lead it. I remember the Giants were surging last time we did this show. They're just 2 games back, so that's another tight race over in the NL West. You have anything to add to these races so far?
You covered most of it. Now, the Padres and Dodgers, I hope that it stays like this for the whole season. Same with the AL East. If the Red Sox, Rays, and Yankees are all a huddled mess battling for the top the rest of the year, those are going to be the 2 most fun divisions to watch from a neutral standpoint. Obviously, here in Kansas City, we want to see the Royals grow. We want to see them start competing with some of those top teams. It's fun beating the Tigers. It's fun beating the Brewers, who are 500. So not horrible. It's fun beating those teams. We want to see them start to compete against the White Sox, teams like that. But if you're a neutral fan, just wanting to see good baseball, nothing can be better right now than the Padres and Dodgers, the Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays at the top of their division. These teams, they all hate each other. These teams will play a lot over the course of the year. And every time these teams play, it's going to feel like postseason baseball in the regular season. And you're going to get to see that 19 times between each of those teams. 19 times when the Red Sox play Rays, Red Sox play Yankees, all that. I think that's so great for the game. And if the Cubs can make this close with the Cardinals for the rest of the year, and those are the 2 teams. Now, the Cubs are so inconsistent. And the teams we all mentioned before that, they all have the best records in baseball. So it's more likely to think that. But if the Cardinals and Cubs stay in it, our group, personally, is going to be on the edge of our seats all baseball season with results and everything pouring in as the teams we hate the most are trying to take everything from the teams we love the most, and vice versa. Man, I'm saying this time of year, it's so much fun. And usually in baseball, you see teams start to pull away. Teams aren't living up to the hype, but not in this group. Not in this group. This is this is going to be one hell of a baseball year for all of us. And a little self promo here. Working for Sports Illustrated Royals. So if you're a Royals fan, you're looking to hear a little bit more about baseball, check us out. Inside the Royals, Sports Illustrated. Not a natural advertisement there, but I had to throw that in there. We do
not get paid for that little ad bit there.
We did not. I will, but like not from this. Yeah, but an unnatural promo there, but I put it on the bio that I have attached with all my stories. So had to give it a shout out here. So you know to connect the two. You look at Inside the Royal stories, come listen to the podcast. You listen to the podcast, go look at the Royal stories. Even you from Ireland, our listener from Ireland, or Maryland, or wherever you're listening from. Seattle, we'll talk about the Mariners more, I promise. You guys just start winning some games, we'll start talking about you.
I'll talk about
I mean, they've lost 6 straight, but they're going to get it turned around eventually pretty soon here. It won't last forever. As a Royals fan, I can tell you it doesn't last forever. Better days are ahead.
It does not. Luckily, we didn't have to wait until from 1985. But yeah, we were born at a decent time where we didn't have to wait that long. But hey, look, it eventually does get better.
Yeah. Diamondbacks fans will get better. Well, not right now, but
sorry, will it though? They are
8 straight losses right now.
They are terrible. They are god awful. So sorry, any Diamondback listeners out there, y'all are very bad. Y'all are very bad. Need to get your stuff together. And speaking of people getting their stuff together, now we didn't really talk about this too much, but we have to throw it in here because it's great news. In NCAA football, we'll get to the NFL real quick, but NCAA football, we did crown a champion. Sam Houston State won their first ever national championship after beating the South Dakota State Jackrabbits 23-21 in the spring season for FCS. So this is a very big deal, seeing how we did not have North Dakota State or a James Madison appearance. Neither team made it. North Dakota State fell out. Sam Houston State is just the third team in the last 10 years to even win the title, seeing how North Dakota State has won 8 of them, and James Madison won the other. So just absolutely exciting. Very happy for them. Happy for the sport where a different team won other than North Dakota State, seeing how they've won 8 of the last 10. Like, that's just insane. So yeah, that had to give them a little shout out because Lord knows the FCS football community needed it.
Oh, absolutely. And if anybody watched this game, this was actually, we're covering this from last week, but if anybody watched this game, they'll know what a great game this was too. The game-winning touchdown pass with 16 seconds left. There was a guy from Joplin, Missouri. We just celebrated the anniversary. Well, we didn't celebrate, but it was the anniversary of the tornado that ripped through Joplin. Here locally. We didn't celebrate it. I'm sorry. We did not celebrate it. The anniversary came up though. We remembered it. But the tornado that ripped through, we rebuilt the community. It's pretty big around here. Kid from Joplin on South Dakota State galloped for an absolutely unreal touchdown to put the Jackrabbits ahead. And so congratulations to both teams. Sam Houston State, phenomenal job. Undefeated on the year and very deserving champions, even if it was the spring season. And South Dakota State, hey, take this into next year. South Dakota State, North Dakota State, game day next year. College game day. get some more eyes on the FCS game. That's going to be a huge matchup. It always is. But South Dakota State, they know they can do it now. So I'm very excited for Missouri Valley football next year in the FCS. And congrats to them on getting the season in. Just getting the season in. That's what we wanted to see. And we had an amazing championship game from it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm happy for them. I'm glad they were able to finish the spring season. And I'm sure there was a lot of planning and unorthodox things that had to go into planning something like that. But the fact that they were able to pull it off is nothing short of miraculous. So I'm definitely happy for them. But sticking with the NFL or with the football theme, we'll go into the NFL. Of course, still in the offseason, so not too much news. But what was released last week was the actual official schedule for the NFL season. Lots of major matchups throughout the year. I kind of have highlighted like some of my favorite matchups I think that'll go on throughout the season. Of course, getting started with honestly week 1. I think the Cowboys, team I cannot stand, but the Cowboys, Dak Prescott's presumed return up against the Super Bowl champions. I mean, that is very big time. That's going to be a game I cannot wait to see. I want to see how much the Cowboys lose by, because I do not anticipate them winning that game in any way, shape, or form. But that's pure entertainment. Of course, again, we have, just like every season, it seems like we have the Chiefs and Ravens. The Chiefs have dominated that. I believe that game's in week 2. But the Chiefs have dominated that rivalry, if you will. But I kind of want to see what's going to look like with Orlando Brown now over on the Chiefs side, and how the Ravens plan to protect Lamar Jackson moving forward. Of course, throughout the season, week 4, there's no game bigger, I think, in the whole entire season than Tom Brady's return to New England. That is going to be very, very interesting. Just the reception, I believe. I mean, this won't be a LeBron going back to Cleveland type deal. He'll be well raved and applauded, I'd imagine, from the New England Patriot fans up there. And dude, people are spending their mortgages on that game. Like, it's like several $1,000s for a ticket to that game. People are spending their mortgage to go see that. So that's gonna be wild. I look forward to that. I also look forward to week 7, the Lions playing the Rams. We can see Matthew Stafford take on his former team. I wish that game was in Detroit, but that one is going to be in Los Angeles. But we'll get to see at least how those two teams who traded with each other in the offseason, how they have adjusted by basically the midway point of next year. I think another big game is going to be the 49ers and the Bears. Will we get to see both of those rookie quarterbacks playing against each other? Of course, Justin Fields being the quarterback of the Bears and Trey Lance over on the 49ers. So I think that'll be and that's week 8. So, I mean, those teams will have several games that have played against each other. So I can't wait to see that. Week 9 for me is pending. I think this is the game that I would definitely try to attend personally. If the man is there, that is Aaron Rodgers and the Packers coming to town against the Kansas City Chiefs. I will definitely try to make that game personally if Aaron Rodgers is indeed a Green Bay Packer. But each and every day, that seems like that'll be a very slim chance at this point. So those are some of the games I'm looking forward to. I don't know if you had any set aside at all that you were looking forward to, but I definitely can't wait to see that.
You know, I'm sort of like a coach. I can't look too far forward into the future. I'm focused 1 week at a time. And right now, we're all gearing up towards week 1. I've got a sleeper game that I am extremely excited for. I'm going to go a little bit outside the box here. It's Monday Night Football. The Ravens, the Raiders, a game that you're like, man, I mean, they're 2 okay teams. They're 2 pretty good teams. But it's going to be the debut of Raiders fans in the new Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. They're going to debut their fans there. Monday night season opener. I hope it's just as rowdy as it was in the Coliseum. But they bring that energy now to a very nice stadium. They're going to Raiders it up, hopefully.
Raiders.
It's going to be the largest gathering of face-painted people in the world. And just in terms of the game, too, I mean, the Ravens, they went out, they got Lamar some weapons in the draft. They lost some offensive line help. This might be a new look team. They lost some defensive pieces. The Raiders, everybody is expecting them to make the jump. Every year we say make the jump. Late season collapses and everything. But the Raiders, they're a team that people are excited about too. And you're going to have to be really good to compete in their division. That would be a great start towards it. And so that's the game, week 1, I think, sleeper game that I'm very excited to see. Obviously, Matthew Stafford, he makes his Rams debut against the great Bears defense on Sunday Night Football. Unfortunately, Andy Dalton will be quarterbacking the Bears at that point in time, says Ryan Pace.
So chalk up for the Rams there.
So it's not exactly what you wanted to see on Sunday night. You'd much rather see Justin Fields, the new guy, go in, get his shot against the veteran playing for a new team, watching Justin Fields run for his life against Gannon's guy up there. He's got his jersey in the background. Yeah, two games that I'm very excited for, 2 primetime games. And week 1, it can't get here fast enough. I know we've got to get through the playoffs and everything first. But, the schedule release, just a huge tease to all of us football fans. Because you got you all excited. They say, all right, just wait 190 days, and then we'll have it for you. But, I'm very excited for the season. Yeah. It's a very exciting time for me right now.
Yeah.
Excited about everything.
No, I'm very happy. I mean, this is a season of defending for my team. My Lakers are defending their title. My boys back here, AJ the GOAT Brown. Titans defending their AFC title. First time I can say that in a very long time. We're here to defend that. I'm very excited. The Chiefs defending AFC. You see my boy Byron Pringle's jersey up here. Chiefs defending their AFC championship title. So a lot of defending for this upcoming seasons for my team. So I'm very excited. That carries over into the NFL. So I'm cannot wait for that. But speaking of titles, and I'll let you take this one over, we had some title fights or guys leading up to some title fights in some combat sports. I'll let you take that section in.
We finally come to something that I'm not too excited about because Mizzou is down very bad in the world of combat sports right now. Woodley's contract cut, the Ben Askren incident. Michael Chandler gets his chance to win the UFC title. Just his second fight in the UFC, by the way. Gets his chance to win the vacant lightweight title after it being vacated.
And he looked good, too.
And it looked like he was going to do it in the first round. I was getting very excited. I thought he was about to put him out. And in some instances, maybe the ref stops that fight. But the ref let it continue. Oliveira, amazing recovery. Looked completely unfazed almost as soon as he got out of it. And it was insane because he was getting rocked. And then Charles Oliveira, he's been in the UFC a long time. A well-earned victory. He caught Michael Chandler with a big one. And as Chandler tried to flee, caught him with yet another big one, put him out for a second round TKO, and claiming the lightweight title in the UFC was Charles Oliveira. And as good as you feel for Charles Oliveira, because it's a guy who's worked his butt off and he's definitely deserving of the championship and what he has, I was really pulling for Michael Chandler, the Mizzou man, Mizzou made. And we know Chandler will be back, but it is a long road back. That is a stacked division. Dustin Poirier fights McGregor. The winner's likely going to get Oliveira. Justin Gaethje, the guy who just lost to Khabib, that's the only loss that he has in a long time. He's sitting there just waiting, finding out who he's going to fight next. He's probably next in line. So really unfortunate for our guy Chandler, who will probably have to wait at least a calendar year to get another shot at this one. But yeah, it was a very entertaining fight. It's very rare that you see a knockdown by the loser who then gets knocked out in the next round. Very rare you see that. So it was all action all the time. And we didn't even mention that he almost was tapped out, managed to backpack the guy, jump down to break that. There was so much that went on, and this happened 2 weeks ago. I'm just remembering the pieces as I go here. But, yeah, that was just pure entertainment value. Congrats to Oliveira. Also on that fight night, Tony Ferguson. He's quickly fading. Third straight loss. He's a lot of people's favorites. He's a really weird, goofy guy. But instead, Beneil Dariush won. He got to give his post-fight interview with Joe Rogan, where he called out Elon Musk and he got his girlfriend her Tesla. So Beneil Dariush winning in and out of the ring right now, I would say. And another guy in that lightweight division that is coming for a title shot. Might actually see Michael Chandler here not too far in the distant future. So yeah, a very eventful UFC 262. There was a big boxing match this weekend to unify junior welterweight titles. Very exciting fight. This one also saw 2 knockdowns. Unfortunately, it was by the same guy. Britain's Josh Taylor defeated the American Jose Ramirez to unify the welterweight titles. Very rare that anybody can hold all of these titles because of the promotions in boxing and all the weirdness that goes on there. But a great fight, and without those 2 knockdowns, there's a very, very good chance Ramirez wins. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. You got to stay on your feet because it always looks worse when you're the guy on the ground. You could have fought a near perfect fight after that, but they see you on the ground. It's hard to score it any other way. And it was a 114-112 decision by all the judges in favor of Taylor, meaning that it was only those knockdowns that made the difference. So Ramirez, yeah, you hate to see it for Ramirez, but he'll be back. He'll be fine. Another thing that's back in boxing, and I actually want to get your take on this, is Wilder and Fury, Part 3, stealing the spotlight right after Fury and Anthony Joshua agreed for a fight. The arbitrator that dictated Fury and Wilder should get another fight has come in, and he's completely upended the Joshua Fury unification bout for heavyweight titles. A lot of people aren't very happy. A lot of people don't think that Wilder is going to take down Fury and that this fight is really pointless when they think about it. I just wanted to get your take on it. We were there at Buffalo Wild Wings to watch the second fight, and we know it did not turn out well for your guy.
This is stupid. This is dumb. The first fight ended in a tie. The second one, Fury absolutely annihilated Wilder. Whether the suit that he wore into the ring weighed him down or not, maybe it did. But either way, he lost. Matter of fact, he lost so bad that his own corner stopped the fight. The ref didn't even have to stop it. His own people stopped the fight because they told him to live to fight another day. Well, this is not the other day that we were wanting to see. Okay, listen. Fury and Joshua Johnson, they already had it set up, ready to go. So I don't know why we're coming in here interrupting that, because I would still really love to see this Fury Joshua fight. I think that would be really good to see what Fury's been doing. He's the current champ. He's the biggest heavyweight champ in the world. He's the best, and he's out here chilling. And I would love to see him, defend his title against someone other than Wilder, because we've seen this already, and I think we can kind of conclude how this will end. So why are we doing this? I think Wilder will be better than he was in the second one if they were to fight, I'd imagine. But I mean, we've seen no proof so far that he can beat Fury. He's tied him and then lost to him. So let's give someone else another shot. And Joshua's really as good as it gets for a secondary opponent. other than Wilder. So, and it's been a while, I feel like, since we've seen Joshua even in the ring. So I felt like that would have been a perfect matchup. A guy who's probably, if you're going by seeding, probably that third seed. And we've already seen that the 1 seed can beat the 2. So let's give the third seed a chance. So I don't know. I think that's done. So have they like officially canceled it all, like completely?
So what they're now aiming for an end of the year type deal. So I think big December fight in London or something like that is what they're going to aim for now with that one. Here's the problem that I see with it. If Wilder wins, that Fury Joshua fight loses a lot of its steam. Because now you want to see who fights Wilder. If Fury wins, you've just delayed it for no reason because we knew what happened because you already beat him. You've delayed it for no reason. If, say, there's a laceration or something, or Fury wins, he hurts his muscle or something, delayed even further. Not only that, but I think Fury holds 3 of the belts. The one that Joshua holds, because they've now interrupted this, they're going to make Anthony Joshua fight, or they're attempting to, Alexander Usyk for his title. So now you've got both of them after an agreed-upon fight that was going to be the blockbuster boxing event of the year. And now you're going to have them fight a fight that's already happened. And even though it would be a blockbuster, we kind of don't want to see it.
Not without the Joshua fight first.
Obviously, we'll watch. But yeah, we wanted to see the 2 champions fight, unify those belts. So we won't be seeing that for a while. And the same thing, if Usyk wins against Joshua, they reschedule that fight. A lot of the steam's lost. Really, people love to see the unification of titles. It's given us some great fights this year. We watched the Burchell fight where he was knocked out completely, this Josh Taylor fight this weekend. I just don't see why, if they were going to make this arbitration thing, why they couldn't have had Fury fight Wilder after the Joshua fight. But the arbitration said they've got to get their fight in before a certain date. I think it was before August, which ironically is the month that they were trying to set the Joshua Fury fight up in. So yeah, this arbitrator, he's kind of the bad guy of boxing right now.
Yeah,
and
that's dumb to me.
Yeah, but obviously I'll be watching because Wilder has explosives in his right hand, so anything could happen to that fight.
And hopefully no more 45-pound suits.
Yeah, probably just walk out in the stuff you're going to box in. Don't even wear a robe in, I would say. Don't wear anything. I mean, oh no, well, wear like your shorts. Wear your shorts.
All right.
But like, that's it. Like, wear the shorts in. Like, bring the gloves with you. Don't weigh yourself down even a little bit. So that we won't be hearing this argument if he does happen to lose again, then we're not seeing a quadrilogy.
Yeah.
A 4th fight.
Yeah, I don't know what the word is. Yes, what is it? A sequel, a trilogy, and then I don't know what the 4th one is. I don't know.
Quadtuple.
Yeah, I had to look that up. Anyways, that's not something we're interested in anyway. So let's hope that. I mean, I kind of for controversy's sake, it would be pretty interesting if Wilder did win, though.
That would throw it. We would sort of have the same thing we had prior to Fury beating Wilder, is you'd have, because even if Fury
then it would be, because then you have a tie and they both each other once.
Exactly, you're 1-1-1. They'd have to fight again.
Yeah. Then
if Wilder wins. If Joshua beats Usyk, which we believe he should, then Joshua's just kind of gonna be there like, well, hey
guys.
Does anybody want to come take my one belt?
I can fight too.
Yeah. Really, we'll throw the whole thing into chaos, but we will cross that bridge as we come to it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it ends up playing out. Definitely interesting. I mean, we're down to our last segment of the show. titled "Welcome to Your Creed Moment." A lot of people out there acting like the very man Connor Evan Reed himself, and we will highlight that. Or people who are not acting like Connor, we'll highlight that as well. Some people have their lives together, unlike Connor, who is MIA at the moment, can't even figure out a Zoom call. So, with that being said, this is Welcome to Your Creed Moment. Toby, who you got out there acting like a Connor? A Creed.
So, it's unfortunate, very unfortunate, but my Creed of the week is going to go to Connor himself right now. He couldn't get on the Zoom call. He could not get on the Zoom call, and I know for a fact that he would have had an absolute cream fest getting to talk about this next person, because he would have come on here, given his wrong Creed of the week, where he says everybody's amazing, and he sings Kumbaya with the sports world about who did what great. And he would have come on here and talked about Phil Mickelson until his face turned purple, talked about him winning the PGA championship. And it was a great moment for Phil Mickelson. And Connor would have loved to have been here to talk about it. But the guy can't figure out the Zoom call to come on, talk about his boy Phil Mickelson, who, by the way, he said is better than Tiger Woods, and we will not let him live that down. Would come on here. He'd get to brag about it to all of us. It's what he's been talking about all weekend. His Blues have been struggling. His Blues, my mistake. His Blues have been struggling. Cardinals lost the series to the Cubs. He hasn't had a ton going for him this weekend, and he would have gotten to come on here and use this time to talk about Phil Mickelson, and he just doesn't have Zoom downloaded.
Yeah, he didn't update Zoom, I guess.
Oh, man. And now we're cutting into time talking about Phil Mickelson's win, his second PGA championship. We're cutting off his time to talk about Creed's computer issues. So there you go, Creed. I've now laid the gauntlet down. I mentioned your guy, but I've made this a you issue instead of crediting him. What do you think about that, Creed? What's up?
Well done.
What's up?
Well done. One of the better Creed moments we've ever had. Well done. Well done. Well, my Creed moment goes to a guy who I think Connor doesn't really like all that much. My Creed of the week goes to Las Vegas wide receiver Henry Ruggs. He is my Creed of the week. This man had the audacity. Welcome to your Creed moment, okay, Henry Ruggs. This man had the audacity to go on to Twitter and start tweeting out things that he was faster than McCall Hardman because he has a faster 40 time, saying, he ran a 4.27, and I think McCall Hardman ran a 4.30 or something like that. And he was like, you realize a 4.27 is faster than 4.30, right? Okay, let's get something straight here. Okay, that's fine. Why are you even coming for McCall Hardman? Because you're still not McCall Hardman's not even the fastest receiver on his own team. So why don't you talk about you versus Tyreek Hill, which we all know you can never win that race. So what are we doing here? Okay, talking about word on the street is McCall Hardman thinks he can top his 40. He probably can, and guess what? So can Tyreek Hill. So stay in your own lane. Don't hear about it. And the worst part is he got put on blast by some Chiefs account because this dude had as many touchdown catches last season as Eric Fisher and Anthony Sherman combined. That is not good. For those of you who don't know who that is the Chiefs' former now retired fullback and now recently signed left tackle of the Indianapolis Colts, Eric Fisher. Henry Ruggs has as many touchdowns as those guys combined. That's not okay. As the number 13th overall draft pick of last season's draft. So
the number one receiver.
The first receiver taken, I think 12th or 13th overall in the entire draft. And you have as many touchdowns combined as a fullback and a left tackle. And you want to compare 40 times. How this compares to Creed is Connor doesn't know when to stay in his own lane. He tries to come over here when he's already down bad. He tries to come over in ours, prime example, when he always is talking about the Pacers and he wants to come and hate on the Lakers. Listen, at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want about the Lakers. We got 17 championships and we're the current defending champs. Okay? So anything you have to say about the Lakers, I don't want to hear it. Stay in your own lane. You stay down bad over there. Don't come over here trying to bring up something there where you think that you're better than my guys at. Who cares about your 40 time? How about you catch some touchdowns and win some games? The Raiders haven't beat the Chiefs actually they did beat the Chiefs this past season, but the Raiders haven't won an AFC West title in a very long time. Focus on that before you focus on what McCall Hardman's 40 time is. So Henry Ruggs, this is your Creed moment.
And to you out there running the Chiefs account, probably from our city, keep up the good work. Keep these guys in check.
Yeah, man, get out of here with that. Nobody cares that you run 0.03 faster than him.
Oh, and by the way, they did do a race. Four guys. They uploaded their 40s. They all remote locations uploaded their 40s, and Mecole Hardman won the race. And Henry Ruggs was in second. The big loser in that, Justin Jefferson, was outran by Devin White, the linebacker for the Buccaneers, by
another Creed moment.
By 0.13 seconds.
Ooh.
Devin White was 4.37, Justin Jefferson 4.5 flat.
What?
So
oh man, I'm faster than him.
Then Jefferson.
Yeah, or at least, probably not right this moment, but I was at least faster than him.
I was about to say, I thought you were saying faster than Devin White. I was like,
whoa. Yeah, I don't know about that one. That's a different breed there. But no, last time I recorded a 40, I ran faster than a 4.5. So
sheesh.
Yeah, so that's Connor's guy. So that fits right in. I didn't even know they actually ended up doing that race.
Hey, but how many more touchdowns does he have than Ruggs?
Justin Jefferson, a lot more. a whole lot. You got to put the entire Chiefs offensive line plus Anthony Sherman's career numbers probably for touchdowns to try to match what Justin Jefferson did last season.
Right. Henry Ruggs ran that 40 against 2 Super Bowl champions and the offensive rookie of the he didn't win it. Herbert won it, but a candidate for offensive rookie of the year in his class.
Yeah.
So just for some context about Ruggs there.
Yeah.
And who he's dealing with.
Not good for the second year man out of Alabama. Gotta be better. Got any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Final thoughts. It was the end of the league year over in Europe. An eventful year in the soccer league. We saw the Super League come and go in about 48 hours. We saw new champions, PSG out in France. Lille wins the championship, ends a 3-year run. Juventus out as champions. Inter Milan wins the championship for the first time since 2010. Atletico Madrid, a non-Real Madrid or Barcelona champion for the first time since 2014. Got the big win today.
Also won by Atletico.
Yeah, it was Atletico won, so it was one of the 3 teams that's always in it. But yeah, very eventful year. We're looking forward to obviously Gannon in the Champions League final, as his team still has unfinished business. The league year wrapped up, but still a trophy to play for. Manchester United, not the same trophy to play for, but still one to keep us engaged through the year. And next up on the soccer docket, the Euros. The Euros this summer, 1 year pushed back. So it'll be Euros this year, World Cup next year. Ooh, baby. Good stuff for soccer. The pandemic actually helping us out with the wait time.
Yeah. No, I can't wait for that. I remember the last Euro. That was insane.
Eder, the hero.
I still can't believe Portugal won that.
Portuguese legend.
That was one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen.
You know, it's insane. To this day, he still only has 1 goal for Portugal's national team.
To this day. That is just ridiculous. I can't believe Wales and Portugal made it that far as they did. That's just ridiculous. And then France, the team that went on to win the most recent World Cup, lost to a dude who scored 1 international goal ever.
So whoever loses the Euros this year, you're going to have a very fun next World Cup.
Well, my money. I said this for last World Cup, but I'm still sticking with them. I'm putting my money on Belgium. I think they actually get a trophy this time. They ended up being third. They went to the third place game. I was laughed at when I said Belgium would win the World Cup, and they were a game away, and they lost to the team that won it all. So, I mean, I got my money on Belgium this time.
Yeah, if we're making predictions, I'm going to go with the team Belgium beat in that third place game. Give me England to win the Euros. They disappoint an awful lot, but Harry Kane out from under the shackles of Jose Mourinho and Spurs, finally getting to go where he wants to go, leads him to the promised land. I'm going to England. It's a biased pick, but it's one that I'm sticking with.
They don't get it done. They're the Milwaukee Bucks for me. They have players all over the place. They just do not know how to get it done. We'll see. And that includes my man Raheem Sterling. He is amazing for us. I expect him to do wonderful things in this Champions League final coming up, and he will get onto England's team and act like he doesn't know how to shoot the ball. They don't know.
Those have to bring in Rashford and Foden at that point.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that'll help or not, but yeah, we have plenty of time to talk about Euros. So no, I'm excited for that, but that'll do it for this week's episode number 41. Thank you guys for listening. I had to sneak one in there. Of course, weren't able to do one last week, so had to get you caught all the way up with 2 weeks worth of stuff. So we'll be back next week for episode 42. Definitely continue to give us feedback. Let us know what you guys like, what you don't like. I'll continue to try to break down the videos segment by segment while also putting out an entire full video so you can just watch it straight through. And of course, that's pertaining to us on YouTube. For those of you who just listen to the podcast, keep sharing our content. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're on all of it. So continue to share our content. Let people know as we continue to spread the word. We are the Sports Resort. Again, I want to thank you guys. And this is us signing out. You guys have a good one.
Me love you.